Hello, everybody. Joe here, back in Auburn, and we're going to start broadcasting earlier today. We're just going to keep the camera on. We're going to let the live stream show you how quickly the place fills up. We're still a little over 3 hours away from the start of this rally, and people are going to begin coming in droves very shortly. They just opened the doors. And you're going to start to see people filing in, and we're going to do some panning and show you kind of how quickly this thing fills up. I want to also say that this place would probably hold over 100,000 people. I think that's hoping way too much. That's not going to happen. But the place, if you might have saw this morning as on our pre-game sound check that we did, the place goes back hundreds of yards, and I'm thinking that, look, if he can fill even 30% of this place, that's amazing. And I think it may not be that far out of the realm of possibility. A Friday night rally, 6 o'clock Eastern. People will probably be showing up late after, right after they get off of work. So there's definitely no limit to how many people can fit in this building. Now, what the fire marshal will allow is a completely different story. I'm not sure what the max occupancy is here, but I'll tell you that if you wanted to, you could easily fit 100,000 plus into this place. It goes back for hundreds of yards. There are no seats except for the seats that are up at the right behind the podium. So, but having said that, like I said, I think it'd be a little bit hard. It'd be hard to get anybody to draw 100,000 people on such short notice. I don't think they only had a couple days notice with this date. But if he could fill just a third of it, that'd be amazing. But we're going to stay with this live shot for the duration of the wait up until the rally and then thereafter, so you can see how fast it fills up, so you can see some of the shots that you won't see anywhere else. And so Brad will be back in a minute. He went to go get something to drink, and then he's going to start panning around, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I say this place is absolutely huge.
Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City nights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. Hey, mister, can I bum a ride? Anywhere you're gone is fine, as long as it's out of town. I could even fill your tank as a way that I can say thanks. I'm feeling kinda down. We can talk about anything that you want to, except one thing, mister, I'm begging you. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City nights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me. She fell in love with me on that Corpus Christi beach. It felt so right. And I remember how her green eyes used to shine, and the taste on her sweet lips was like cherry wine. We can talk about any state that we've been through, except the one where I hitched this ride with you. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City lights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me. Someday I might just go back and find the best love this cowboy ever had. Yeah. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City lights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. So don't you talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City lights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me. you smile and just say no? Nobody knows why she dances alone. There's a million things that it could be, from broken hearts to broken dreams, or getting tired of being left out one more time. To tell you the truth, your guess is as good as mine. Nobody knows why she dances alone. No, nobody knows. Is there something at home? Nobody knows why she dances alone. No, nobody knows what she's running from. You can ask her to dance if you want, but you smile and just say no. Nobody knows why she dances alone. Nobody knows why she dances alone. Said nobody knows.
The website is not a redheaded stepchild. I will say this. For those of you who like to chat on YouTube, that's great. We love our YouTube chat stream. Do we love our YouTube chat stream chatters? Yes, we do. We love them. You can also go to our website. There's a great community there on the discuss comment section at rsbn.tv. You'll feel at home there. They have things set up very well. The moderating is done very well. You need to go check them out at rsbn.tv, our website. Scroll to the bottom of each post or page, and you can see everyone there. They're very friendly, welcoming. You'll feel right at home there. If you want to go check it out, go to our website, rsbn.tv. In the discuss comment section underneath, we always have lots of comments, sometimes 2,000-3,000 comments per post. So check it out. And we do appreciate you over there, moderators. It's just that things are very, very hectic right now. We're kind of overworked and understaffed. And so we're doing the best we can with the very small workforce that we do have. So be patient with us. Thank you all. This is just something that we're doing to kind of give you an idea of just how large this crowd is. This venue apparently, now I said 100,000 earlier. That may have been over exaggerating a little bit, but it goes back very far. Now maybe the head moderator said 35,000 is capacity here. That may be 35,000 max occupancy when it comes to the fire marshal. I think you could get a lot more than that in here. This is a huge venue. If Brad turns it around 360 again, you'll be able to see that this is absolutely a huge venue. And mind you, we're still an hour and a half away from the festivities here, so I think the crowd's going to fill in a lot more. This is a very big crowd to see Donald Trump in an area that is I think, very close, probably within 20 minutes or so, I think, 20 minutes, 30 minutes from Detroit. So this is a very big, a very good sign for Trump here in Michigan. These people were standing outside, in some cases 6 hours before the rally begins, and even more, in the cold and the rain, to be able to sit here and to be able to see him tonight. And he's still quite a ways away, but we're going to keep broadcasting so you can see the place fill up. We're going to keep showing you the crowd. This should be a pretty good one. Our camera looks like it's hanging in there really well. We got plenty of bandwidth from the venue. Shout out to the people on the Trump Advance team for getting this taken care of for us. We really appreciate it. So many things that we're going to be able to bring you here in the next few weeks. There's Carl Cameron of Fox News that just walked across your screen there. So many things that we want to bring you here in the next few weeks on RSBN. And we're going to be broadcasting live from Colorado next week, from Arizona next week. It's going to be huge. You're going to see these crowds get even bigger and bigger as we get closer to the election. We have 38 days now, I believe. 38 days to save the country. So we need you all to go all in. Look, we're openly for Trump. I don't care. Yes, we're media, but look, all the other media sources are pulling for Hillary, but the difference is they pretend to be non-biased when everybody knows that they really are. We are obviously pro-Trump, and we just tell you that we are. That's the difference between us and them. So, what I'm saying is that we have 38 days. Go all in. Do whatever you have to do. This isn't like a normal election. You don't just get to sit back and do nothing and say, I'm just going to go, voting this time is not enough, because you know what is at stake, right? You know what's at stake. Just voting alone isn't going to cut it this time. You have to put in the extra time. And I know some of you are, very passionate supporters. It's time to put on your working boots and get out there and I don't care if you have to knock on doors. That's what I would be doing if I wasn't running this network right now. I'm having to staff people all across the country, coordinate flights. I'm doing it all here from the office while my guys are out traveling the country, and it's because of your donations that this is even possible. We aren't making money, folks. We're not making money. The only funds that we make that are profit for us are advertising revenue. The rest of it, your donations go into a separate account, which is used for travel, for flights, for internet expenses, which we have to pay for each venue that we go to. So all of this travel is a direct result of all of your donations. And we could not, I'm not just saying that, we couldn't do it without you. The money is locked up in our PayPal account. Our guys have debit cards that are hooked up to that PayPal account, and when they're on the road, that is what they use. They use that for traveling, for internet, hotel, for gas, for things like that. That allows us to get from place to place, because before we were limited by how much we could travel, because all we had was the money we made from ad revenue. So I want to thank everybody who's donated. You guys are amazing, because this is your network. Okay? And rsbn.tv/donate if you want to contribute. We really appreciate everything you guys have done. You basically sponsor these rallies for us. And that's why we're making every effort to go all in and be at every single event. If they have internet at the event for us, you can bet we're going to be live streaming with our cameras. If they don't, we're at least going to be there to document the size of the movement, the crowd at the event. So you're going to get to see the crowds at every event. The media, the mainstream media, won't show you those things. They're scared to show you those things because they're afraid it might catch on. You're going to see all these people that are in these rallies, and you're going to think, wow, there's some African Americans, there's some Hispanics, and you're going to start to, this is what it's all about. So thank you all for everything you're doing. I'm getting a call now, so I'm going to have to go, but I'm going to put this back on, and we're going to just sit here and watch the crowd fill in, and we're going to play some music for you, and Mr. Brad will pan shortly. Thank you.
correct? I would like to introduce Pastor Kent Clark, the CEO of Grace Center of Hope. It's the oldest and largest homeless shelter in the state of Michigan.
Thank you so much. Let us pray. Our Father, our God, creator of heaven and earth and all things therein, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we pray with the weeping prophet Jeremiah that you be not as a man stoned, a stranger in our land. We know our iniquities as a nation testify against us. Many of us this afternoon clearly understand why you are not speaking to us. And we know that there could be no worse judgment that could befall America than to be a nation left to be the plaything of malignant forces. There is no situation more painful than watching the lingering agony of an exhausted country, seeing all symptoms of vitality disappear one by one until nothing is left but coldness, darkness, and corruption. Since you've been gone and without your forming hand, we have degenerated into chaos. Our president has declared us not to be one nation under God and turned his back on Israel. Some of us here this afternoon do not wear that as a badge of honor, but of shame. Things just have not been the same since you've been banned from America. We should have never put you out of our schools. Since we outlawed your commandments, your school book, our children have lost a sense of character, principle, and morality. Since you've been gone, we have been teaching our children that they are nothing more than the accidental formation of gas and dust, and that they have no real purpose in life. While you've been gone, we have tried to substitute for you the multiplicity of material things, and our children have not been able to cope with the pains of life. They have no point of reference, and they are killing themselves and one another. Since you've been gone, they are empty, lonely, and love deprived. Now we are a nation struggling with a pharmacia epidemic. Since you've been gone, life has lost its sacredness, and we do the most barbaric commerce with baby parts. Well, Lord, since you've been gone, the institution of marriage, the family, the building block of a solid society, the glue that holds society together, has disintegrated. Dear God, since you've been gone, men and women have lost their sense of parenthood, and we have 800,000 children in America without a mother or father. Since you've been gone, the state has been attempting to be a parent, and it's not working. Lord, since you've been gone, our prisons have filled and our churches and synagogues are emptied. Dear God, many here this afternoon would like to invite you back. Please keep us from ruin. We know that a sparrow does not fall to the ground without your notice, and we know that a nation cannot rise without your aid. We know this afternoon that the spiritual weapons of this great nation are our most powerful resource in peace and war. Our confidence this afternoon is not in big government, but in a big God. If you will accept our invitation to revisit America, we promise we will never again disengage ourselves from the culture in which we live. We have learned our lesson. We will not leave the soul of America to the federal government. We know that America's vitality is her people, that a country where the people rule must be a godly country. Visit us with your spirit so we can learn to be servants of others, volunteers, and contributors who make a difference by our action. We have learned our lesson that entitlement programs do not work, and big government passing out welfare checks has failed to solve the social ills that plague us. Bless Donald Trump and Mike Pence. We thank you that in your providence you have raised them up and brought them to the kingdom for such an hour as this. Speak to this nation through them, we pray. Bless and protect our men and women in the armed forces around the world, and the men and women in blue that protect us from the lawless. Hold back the enemies of liberty. God bless America. Amen.
By the way, Grace Center of Hope is right here in Oakland County, and it's completely privately funded. No government money. They do great work. Next, I'd like to introduce Jose Aligia. He became a citizen in 2006 legally from Peru, and he was just re-elected as a trustee in Independence Township right here in Oakland County to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we have the national anthem as sung by Carolyn Richkowski of Farmington Hills. She's a sophomore at Marriott High School. Did I say that right? Come on up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Let no rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Thank you. Now we have some people walking around with clipboards and neon shirts. You know, we have two opponents. We have Hillary Clinton and we have the mainstream media. So these people walking around with neon shirts and clipboards, we need you to sign up to volunteer. We have 40 days to go. We need your help. We need your help to get the message out to friends, neighbors, relatives. It's all so important. So please find someone, clipboards, put your clipboards up. Anybody out there? Neon shirts? There's a few out there. Please sign up. We need your help to make phone calls. This cannot happen. We know what we're up against. The Clintons are unrelentless. Next, one of the most important coalitions here in the state of Michigan, the Workers' Coalition. Our blue collar and union workers. My whole family are union workers from Southeast Michigan. I grew up in Inkster, Michigan, and I've been grateful to be able to work with Terry Bowman over the past several years. Terry Bowman has worked on the line at a Ford plant near Ypsilanti. Terry Bowman.
Thank you, Scott. Well, hello, Michigan. Well, as Scott said, I have been a Ford worker for 20 years now. And you may also know, as he said, that I'm building what I think will be the largest single coalition in the entire Trump campaign, the Blue Collar and Union Coalition. Now, in my 20 years at working for Ford, I have never seen or witnessed so many union workers coming out publicly and saying no to their union officials, saying, my vote is my own. I own that vote. I will not vote for your chosen candidate. I am voting for Donald Trump because he is speaking my language. He is the only candidate poised to create the environment that creates wealth, creates jobs, and creates higher wages. He's the only candidate that will put American jobs first. And it's actually easy to see why. All we have to do is contrast the two candidates. For example, Hillary Clinton has said that she is going to, quote, put coal miners out of work, unquote. While Donald Trump has said he's going to reopen the mines, bring back the jobs, and honor, very important word, honor the generational commitment and dedication of the American coal miner. Now, workers around the country, we see this, we know it, we see it, and we know that Donald Trump is our candidate. Here in Michigan, we also, don't we, have a generational dedication and commitment to putting America on wheels. And we know that Donald Trump will honor us as well. Now, on all the issues, like trade deals like TPP and NAFTA, Donald Trump is on the side of the working class. For Michigan's auto workers, Donald Trump is the only candidate with the will to do anything and everything to stop the outsourcing of our jobs to other countries. Now, if you are a blue-collar or union worker out there and you're still unsure of who to vote for, let me say this. Hillary Clinton, a pretentious, elitist, out-of-touch, status quo, pay-for-play politician, cares little for you and your family struggles. When you have a candidate who will say anything to anybody at any time for three things: votes, money, and power, her voice is meaningless and her words are empty. Donald Trump, however, his voice is focused on you like a laser, on your families and on your future. So today, here in Michigan and across this United States, especially to all the blue-collar workers out there and the union workers out there, I am formally creating a call to action today. It is time to abandon the voting demands of partisan and biased union officials. It is time. It is time to break those chains of apathy and get out there and vote. It is time to elect the people's blue-collar and union candidate, Donald Trump. Let's turn Michigan red again, and let's do everything we can to help Donald Trump not only make America great again, but make America safe again, make America great again, and for us workers, make America work again. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Terry. So our next speaker I've had the pleasure to work very closely with the last several months. She was a delegate for Mr. Trump at the National Convention. She happens to have the last name of Romney, and she's been a great supporter. Ronna Romney McDaniel, the state chair for the GOP.
excited to be here today, and I wanted to talk to you about some of the things you can do to help elect Donald Trump this November. We have 39 more days. Are you ready to do everything you can to help elect him? We need you. We need you to knock doors. We need you to make calls. We need you to volunteer. You know how people say don't talk politics? Forget that. Talk politics to everyone you know, at your grocery store, at your school, at your work. This is how important this election is. We cannot risk letting Hillary Clinton in the White House again. Please go to our website at migop.org and sign up to volunteer today. We have 20 offices around the state. We could use you. We need you. It's going to be us that elect Donald Trump, and we need to do it together. So this election is a pretty clear choice, don't you think? So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You say no if you think it's a bad idea, and yes if you think it's a good idea. Do you want to elect a bureaucrat who's been in Washington for 30 years and has gotten nothing accomplished and only cares about her friends and the insiders? Do you want that? Or should we elect a businessman who understands jobs and the economy and how the real world works? Do you want someone who gave Putin the reset button and helped ISIS get stronger while America got weaker? Or do you want to elect somebody who cares about our veterans, who's going to make our country stronger and safer and a leader in the world? Do you want someone who's going to appoint activist justices who will fundamentally change the framework of our Constitution? Or do you want someone who's going to appoint rule of law justices like Justice Scalia to the Supreme Court? Do you want someone who shows up to Michigan one time since she's received the nomination, and only for invitation-only events with rope lines or large dollar fundraisers? Or do you want a candidate like Donald Trump, who's making his 5th visit to Michigan today? Since receiving the nomination, and you know why? He cares about our state, he cares about our issues, and he will not forget us when he's in the White House. He will not be a fair weather politician. He cares about Michigan. Are we voting for him? And finally, you look like a hard-working group of people. Are you hard-working? Do you love your families? Do you love this country? Do you want to vote for a candidate who thinks that's deplorable? Or do you want to support a candidate who's fighting for every vote, for every person, because he cares about every American and he wants to help work with us to make America great again? As I said, the choice is pretty clear. Hillary is all about Hillary, and Donald Trump is about all of you. And we need to elect him on November 8th to be our next President of the United States. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ronna. Her uncle's Mitt Romney. I'm not sure if that's clear. So thank you. Our next speaker is John Curry. He's a former city councilman for the city of Farmington Hills and a Capitol Hill advisor. John Curry.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, Michigan! What an absolute honor it is for me to stand before you as the son of immigrants from the tiny Mediterranean nation of Lebanon. as a proud American and a Trump supporter, we are here today because for far too long we have had a commander in absentia, and now it's time for a commander-in-chief. Let's talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton. Running a divisive campaign while offering only tired, failed policies of the past. She actually believes that 50% of all Americans are either deplorable, irredeemable, racist, or too dumb to know what's best for their own good. Well, you know what? Like Bob Dole says, I consider that a badge of honor. I would like to ask Hillary Clinton which category myself and others from the Middle Eastern community who are here today in full support of Donald Trump fit into. Because we have seen firsthand the path of destruction following each place Hillary Clinton has meddled in overseas. Family members and people we know have suffered because of her poor judgment, her decision making. So no, Hillary, we are not deplorable or any of the other terrible things you've said about us and everyone else in this room. We simply don't like watching the places where our families are from being destroyed and ripped apart as a direct result of your weak, politically correct foreign policy. My friends, it's change versus the status quo. Do we want 4 more years of Obama's failed policy? Don't we owe it to our children and our next generation to ensure them an America that they can be proud of? The world is a mess. You hear Donald Trump all the time talk about the worst deal ever made with Iran, and we know why. Let me never forget the 52 Americans that were held hostage for 444 days and all the crimes perpetrated against American citizens by Iran and its lackeys. We could go on and on and on. Yet today, Hillary and the Obama administration say that Iran is no longer a global terror threat. Do you believe that? Let's talk about Benghazi. Leadership versus weakness. We saw what President Ronald Reagan did in 1986 following consultations with his cabinet, ordering the U.S. Air Force and Navy to attack terrorist bases. Yet, in 2012, a week after the U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and others were murdered by terrorists in Libya, Hillary got the proverbial phone call at 3 a.m., which she didn't answer. Hillary's boss, President Obama, went on the David Letterman show to do the top 10. Do you know what Donald Trump would have done? He would have assembled his top 10 generals and taken decisive action for all America. Yes, with Clinton, Obama, we're going to see more red lines, more beer summits, more late night appearances, more kowtowing and bowing. Folks, it's substance versus symbolism. Talking about substance, let's look at what Donald Trump tweeted earlier this year, when several times the office of the American president was snubbed upon landing and deplaning Air Force One. I, as a photojournalist, have covered many presidential tarmac arrivals and departures and can't even begin to express to you the immense pride as the winds of freedom carry the flying White House in its destination. So Donald Trump is spot on when he says no respect. The president should have turned the plane right out of Saudi Arabia and left. My friends, I recall a time not long ago when America was respected, admired, and feared. Sadly, today, it's none of those. But I can guarantee you, on January 20th, 2017, there will be a new president in the White House, and his name is Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump is in the White House, he'll not only make America great again, he'll make America respected again, he'll make America admired again, and he'll make America feared again. God bless America. Vote Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker, former Congressman Pete Hoekstra, who actually ran against the establishment top Republican back in '92 and took him out. And he's back with Donald Trump this year, fully supportive as one of our state co-chairs, going for round 2. He was the rebel in '92, and he's working hard to send Donald Trump to the White House to clean up Washington, D.C. Our co-chair and former Congressman from Michigan, Pete Hoekstra.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. For those of you in the front, thank you for coming early. For those of you in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 50th layer, thanks for coming early. You just didn't get here as early as some of the rest of the folks here, but wow, what a great crowd, and what a wonderful turnout for the next President of the United States of America. Thank you. Scott's absolutely right. In 1992, I woke up one night in the middle of the night and I said to my wife, I'm kind of tired of what's going on in Washington. I think I'm going to run for Congress. And she said, go back to sleep and you'll feel better in the morning. Well, you know, I woke up in the morning and I still didn't like what was going on in Washington. So I ran against the chairman of the Republican National Congressional Committee, the guy that's responsible for running Republicans and getting Republicans elected around the country. And people laughed. I got on my bicycle. I rode around West Michigan. People said, who is this guy? He's never going to win. But just like Donald Trump is doing, I didn't create it. The people in my district did. They created a movement. They were fed up with Washington. They said it's time for a change. On an election night, they elected a new congressman to represent them in Washington. In 39 days, you're going to elect a new president to represent you in Washington, D.C. Change is a powerful motivator, but Donald Trump is about a lot more than just change. He's going to bring about positive change. Donald Trump is a president that will represent and serve every American, whether they voted for him or not. The alternative is a candidate who says, I'm going to represent part of America, but a part of America I will never represent, because there's nothing that I can do to change you, to help you, or to have the federal government serve you. Donald Trump believes in the value and the worth of every single American and recognizes for this country to be great again, it's going to take the help of every American and unleashing the potential of every American to make this country great again. That's a much different vision. And we talk about making America great again, and people say, oh, that's kind of an empty slogan. Well, today is a very good example of when you have a candidate or hopefully a president that says, I will make America great again and I will do everything to keep America great, versus what we have in the White House and what we have in the other candidate. And what is that distinction? In 7 hours and 45 minutes, this president is going to take something that Al Gore created. And it's amazing. I'm not sure he really did create it. But America took the internet and made it into a huge success, an economic tool of vitality for America. It helped make America great. And in 7 hours and 45 minutes, Barack Obama is going to turn control of the internet over from the United States of America. He is going to turn it over to the UN. I'm sorry, that kind of thinking to me does not represent a president of the United States who represents America and wants to make America great or keep America great. It's time for a change. Let me talk a little bit about another thing that our candidate wants to talk about and talk about with the American people. He talks about law and order. And let me give you just a couple of examples that fall into the category of law and order. Think of the IRS. When we think of law and order, we think of an IRS that serves all of the American people equally. We're not looking at an IRS that serves the president or Lois Lerner and allows them to choose what rules will apply to what Americans and what rules will not apply. We need reform at the IRS. We need law and order at the IRS, and we need law and order applied to the people at the IRS. Think about another place where we need law and order. We've lost it, and this is why there is a movement to reform Washington. You no longer believe, correctly so, that the law applies equally to all of us. Think about the State Department. We should have a State Department that serves all Americans. And what we now know is that for 4 years we had a State Department that served those who contributed to the Clinton Foundation. Does that make America great? No. Think about another example. Think about this concept of law and order and apply it to this concept that is out there that is called sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities simply tell America that certain parts of America have decided that the laws don't apply to them, and that laws don't apply to certain Americans, and that they have the choice of what laws apply to what Americans and what laws do not apply to other people in our country. In a country that's ruled by law and order, in a country that is governed and led by Donald Trump, all Americans will be treated the same wherever they live and whatever they do. There will not be parts of the country that are fenced off and say, I'm sorry, we're not applying these laws in these communities. It's not what law and order stands for. Think about the FBI. We need an FBI that applies all the laws equally. I was chairman of the Intelligence Committee for a period of time, and what do I know? What I know is if I'd had a private server in my basement, if my employees had helped to scrub that server and hide emails and hide the information on it, and if it had classified information on it, I doubt that I would be standing here with a blue suit. I'd have an orange suit, and I doubt And I doubt that my employees I really do believe that that is what they would have done to me. And they would not have provided my employees with immunity. So we're going to establish, under Donald Trump's leadership, a law and order system that recognizes the value of every American and recognizes the importance of the rule of law. Switching gears, we're going to talk about a government that actually will work for the people. Think about it. Our veterans. How many of you are veterans out there today? Let's give the vets a huge hand for what they have done. I've traveled and I've met with our servicemen and women in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and other parts of this country. You get off the plane and it's 107 degrees and it's 10 o'clock in the morning and you know it's just going to get hotter. These are people who lost their friends, their colleagues in war for 20 hours a day. They're out, they're eating dust all day long, and they're worried about where the next IED is planted or where the next mortar round is coming from. And then they come home, whether it was in Vietnam, whether it's Iraq, Afghanistan, Korea, and they come home, they have to stand in line to get care, and many of them die before they ever do. And we have a VA that lied about it and falsified information. We need to make sure that the VA or our health system works for every single American veteran. They've sacrificed and they deserve our help. We need to make sure that as we go through and take a look at our interactions with other countries around the world, think about it. We've had NAFTA for 24 years. There's parts of NAFTA that may work. There's parts of NAFTA that may not work. But you know what? After 24 years, it's just common sense for someone to say, we really ought to go back and take a look at whether it's working the way that it was supposed to work. And if it is, we'll leave those parts in place, and those parts that are broken, we will go and fix them, because this is the difference between American men and women going to work each and every day or trying to look for a job. It's about opportunity for our kids or a lack of opportunity for our kids. This is what a president would do. You know, in domestic policy, at least in the last 10 years that I was in Congress, was not my strong suit. I got on the Intelligence Committee 9 months before 9/11, and that day changed the rest of my career in Washington. I spent about 90% of my time focusing on the threat from radical Islam and the evil that it espouses. And let me just tell you that in 2001, when almost 3,000 Americans lost their lives on a single day, through those horrific attacks, roughly in that era, roughly 2,500 from 2001 to 2007, roughly 2,500 people on a global basis were losing their lives as a result of radical jihadist terror. It's a lot of lives, 2,500 per year. 2008, 2009, that number had grown to roughly 3,300 people per year. 2008, 2009 is when our current president came into office. Think about this number that I'm going to give you next. 2008, 2009 on a global basis, 3,300 people per year were losing their lives as a result of radical jihadist terror. In 2015, that number is 30,000 people per year. And he thinks we're winning. That doesn't look like winning to me. Iraq, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Afghanistan, they are failed states. What does it mean that it is a failed state? It means that these are 5 countries where these terrorist groups can plan and prepare and train for their next terrorist attack, and we are their primary target. Radical jihadism has spread from the Middle East into northern Africa and other parts of Africa. It is spreading into Asia. It is going into Europe, and ultimately they want to increase the pressure and the violence right here in the United States. We need a president that recognizes what the threat is, will confront it, contain it, and ultimately defeat it. You know, there are those that say that America needs to be a compassionate country, and we are. But this past weekend, it's kind of interesting. The Dalai Lama, in an interview in the United Kingdom, a great ally of ours, has the same strategy in place that Donald Trump has. He's not talking about a wall, although they're building one in France and other places in Europe. What the Dalai Lama says, the compassionate thing to do is to defeat ISIS in the Middle East so these people can stay in their homelands. The compassionate thing is not allowing the genocide of Christians, Jews, and other religious minorities in the Middle East to continue. The compassionate thing is to confront the evil, to defeat it, and help ensure that these people continue to have a homeland. There is so much that needs to happen, that needs to change in Washington. I'm grateful that all of you recognize the change that needs to happen. We need you over the next 39 days to talk to your friends, to talk to your neighbors, to talk to your family, to do everything that they can to make sure that on November 8th, we elect Donald Trump as the next president. The future of America is in your hands. It is not in Mr. Trump's hand. It's not in my hands. It's not in Scott's. We need you to make sure that this movement carries Donald Trump to victory, and that when he is the next president of the United States, we can begin the pathway to making America great again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman Hoekstra. He's right. We need each and every one of you. We need to take back our country. There's a feeling out there that no matter how hard you work, play by the rules, you can't get ahead. The system is rigged. Hillary Clinton is part of that rigged system. If I've ever seen a candidate in my life that represents the elitist political system out of Washington, D.C., it is Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is a builder. Hillary Clinton is a scripted, professional, smooth-talking politician. I don't know about you, but I want somebody in the White House who will get things done. So I implore you for the next 39 days to get out there and work. Get out there and work and take our country back. I can't even think. It makes me cry to think about a Supreme Court appointed by Hillary Clinton. What it will do to the Second Amendment. to states' rights. We're not respected abroad. We're not safe here in the homeland. Wages are dropping, anemic growth, the worst economic recovery since 1949. This is not acceptable. There is one man, Donald J. Trump, that can change that. It's time to elect him on November 8th. Take back our country and make it great again. Thank you.
Conversations with an old bottle of wine, reminiscing about the days when you were mine, where we had our ups and downs, the bad outweighed the good. We had tried to work it out. Hell, I wondered if we could. Now I'm feeling lost and so alone. Yeah, I'm bleeding, spinning way out of control. Well, you say you need your time, that you need your space. Oh, baby, I don't understand. All I got to say is, what about me? What about us? What about life, baby? What about love? What about all our hopes, our plans, and all our dreams? Yeah. What about me? Yeah, I'm drinking. All the rumors are true, really sinking in a broken heart of blue. Well, you told me you still love me, but girl, how could it be? If you still want your freedom, then you ain't wanting me. So what about me? What about us? What about life, baby? What about love? What about all our hopes, our plans, and all our
Thank you guys for watching us. We are we're about 25 minutes out from Trump. He's actually on the way right now to Novi, and man, this place is filling up fast. I said in the beginning I thought this place could hold a lot of people, and it's clearly, I don't think it's going to be completely full, but I'm thinking we could get over 25-30,000 people here. That's just my guess. I from looking at the numbers of people that came in the beginning, I think that we have a chance to actually hit 25-30,000, which would be huge here in Michigan. I remind you, we're not very far from Detroit, and looking around the crowd, we have seen a lot of African Americans in the crowd, which is a very good sign for Donald Trump, who has put in the extra hours, reached out to these people who have been, just taken advantage of for so long by the system, and they're just starting to really get, what we've been saying all along, which is that the same old. They cater to these voters every 4 years, and then they forget about them, and I think they're starting to wake up. There's a lot of these people in the audience, and you'll be able to see that as we continue to pan the crowds. That's what we're here for, is to show you the crowds. That's really the only reason that we're here, is because the mainstream media just refuses to show it for obvious reasons. They only want you to see what they want you to see, what fits their agendas, and we're not like that here at Right Side. We're going to continue to do these things. We've made a commitment to go all in with the 38 days that we have left, I believe, until the election. I think there's 38 days left, and like I said before, this is your opportunity to go all in. This is not a normal election. This is not an election where you can just say, if we don't win, we'll just come back in 4 years. This is it. This is our last chance, and so you have to get out, and you got to go all in, and you got to knock on doors, make phone calls, whatever you have to do, share these streams, do whatever you have to do, post Facebook, Twitter, everything you can do, because this could be our last shot, and very well likely is our last shot. So if you can make the commitment to go all in, type 1. I want to see in the chat room. I want to see you type 1. I'll see how many of you are really all in, you're willing to go all in with this, because that's what we're doing. We're not making money, and I don't really care. This isn't about that right now. After the election, it'd be nice to be profitable, but right now that's not what we're concerned about. We just want to be at all these events and show you this crowd, document the movement. By the way, Brad, who is our cameraman, is doing an excellent job tonight, and he has been everywhere the last week, and he'll be everywhere next week. He'll be in Arizona, he'll be in Colorado, and some other places that I can't tell you about right now he'll be at. So it's just amazing what, the high energy that my guys have. I really appreciate it. They're trying to take a page out of Trump's book and their high energy. I really appreciate them. And all of you who donate, because without you guys, I know I say this so many times, but I have to continue saying it, because the only ad revenue we make is from the ads on these videos, and you guys, without you guys' help, we could not travel to these events. We could not be here. You guys make it possible with your donations. I really, you guys blow me away with all the support. RSBN.TV/donate if you want to contribute. It'll go directly towards the cost of sending these guys out for the next 38 days. We have 38 days, and you better believe that if Trump is elected president, which I believe he will, we will be there in D.C. for Inauguration Day, and we will be bringing you behind-the-scenes footage and everything that we're allowed to do. We will make sure that you get it. This is a historic movement, and we're going to be there till the very end. I appreciate all of you guys' support, and let's see, Trump should be here hopefully very soon. Brad is back at the camera now, so I'm going to let these panning zoom shots that he's doing, very well done, by the way, Brad. We're going to go ahead and get you back to this. Trump will be here shortly. Thanks for all the support, everybody.
but he paid a heavy price. Left home young and innocent, came back to protest signs. But he still wakes up screaming in the middle of the night. Falls down upon his hands and knees, praying, God, won't you help me find peace of mind? That what I did was right. Back in 67, I was told to go and fight. Give it all I had. Now all I wanna find is a country proud of a job I've done and a little peace of mind. Well, she didn't win no medal, red cross upon her sleeve. It was her life's mission, helping those in need. She can still see their faces, finds it hard to sleep sometimes, as she lifts her hands to heaven, praying, God, won't you help me find peace of mind? That what I did was right. After 9/11, I was asked to go and fight. I gave it all I had. Now all I wanna find is a country proud of a job I've done and a little peace of mind. So raise up your glasses and join me in a toast. I thank the man in heaven, them are those who gave the most. Be thankful for your freedom and the right to speak your mind. Just remember who you're hurting. When you hold that protest signs, give a peace of mind. Yeah. Peace of mind. Now what they did was right. After 9/11, they were asked to go and fight. Gave it all they had. Now all they wanna find is a country proud of a job well done and a little peace of mind. Peace of mind. Peace of mind. talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City nights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. Hey, mister, can I bum a ride? Anywhere you're gone is fine, as long as it's out of town. I could even fill your tank as a way that I can say thanks. I'm feeling kinda down. We can talk about anything that you want to, except one thing, mister, I'm begging you. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City nights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me. She fell in love with me on that Corpus Christi beach. It felt so right. And I remember how her green eyes used to shine, and a taste on her sweet lips was like cherry wine. We can talk about any state that we've been through, except the one where I hitched this ride with you. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City lights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me. Someday I might just go back and find the best love this cowboy ever had. Yeah. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City lights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. So don't you talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City lights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me.
Yeah, it's okay to say USA, USA. Let's get it going. Get it fired up in here. Woo! USA. God, you gotta love it. Hey, and we still have probably a couple thousand more people that are still lined up outside trying to get in here. So just, that's just awesome. It is just awesome. So thank you so much, Detroit. You are amazing, amazing city. Thank you, Michigan. And I'm going to say this again. My role up here today is to introduce America's mayor, Mayor Giuliani, who's going to come out here. And he's awesome. He is awesome. You guys are great. Thank you. Okay, this election represents a change election. Our country will go in one direction or the other, and what we want is we want to take America back. I mean, we want America to be exactly what we know it to be. We want it to represent that flag. We want it to represent all of the American people around this country, every single one of them, including all the deplorables. I'm one. I am one. I'm proud to wear that name. There are so many risks. There's so many risks that we face. And you're going to hear all this tonight. Donald Trump will come out here and he'll talk about, illegal immigration and protecting our border and protecting our country. One of the things that I would love to have a real shout out to all of our veterans, all veterans in the room. Woo! Hoo-ah! That's right. The men and women who serve in our armed forces, they deserve so much. And their families deserve so much. And our military, I will tell you, I'm standing up here tonight, and I'm standing alongside Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States, because when I look at our military has been depleted. We have the smallest army since World War II. We have the smallest Navy since World War I. We have the smallest Air Force we've ever had. And God love our Marine Corps. Any Marines in here tonight? Hoorah, hoorah, Marine, hoorah. Yeah, Marines say hoorah, hoorah, Marines. I hear ya. Another critical issue, very, very critical issue. The Supreme Court of the United States of America. And we must, this is such an important issue with this, and many people don't understand it. Most Americans, they think about it and you don't really understand it, but trust me, the Supreme Court of the United States of America, it sets our way of life. It protects the rule of law in our country. And we have to make sure that we put the right person in the White House, because the likelihood of somewhere between 3, maybe 5 Supreme Court justices could be changed, and that is an unbelievable. Imagine Hillary Clinton putting Supreme Court. No, boo, boo. This election is about leadership. It's about honesty versus the status quo and someone who just doesn't know how to tell the truth. Hillary Clinton is so corrupt. She's just everything that comes out of her mouth, you just wonder, why does she even talk anymore? The amount of lies that she continues to say. Another group that I want to address in here tonight, and you see them here. You got the Secret Service. You look all around, and I'm sure as you drove into the parking lot tonight, is all of those men and women who serve in blue, who wear, Blue Lives Matter, our law enforcement, our cops. God love them. God love them. I mean, our police. Our police in this country are under assault. The rule of law in this country is under assault. If there's one thing that we have to protect the rule of law in this country. And the first line of defense for protecting our rule of law is the men and women who serve us on law enforcement professionals on a daily basis. And let's give them another big round of applause. Now, one of the things that I like to do when we travel around is that we travel around together, and that's to introduce America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. I will tell you, that's right. That's right. Now, this is a guy. This is a tough guy. New York City mayor. I mean, when he was the mayor of New York, he brought crime down so much, unbelievable, and you'll hear more about that tonight. But the best city in the world, New York City, under Mayor Giuliani, unbelievable guy, America's mayor. Let me introduce the next speaker, America's mayor, Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's very, very nice to be here in Michigan and in a place that I know we're going to win in November. I got to tell you, you really have Hillary Clinton and the Democrats very, very nervous. They're basically pulling out of Ohio. I predict in 2 weeks we'll get them to pull out of here. You see this little group in front of me right here? No, just this little group, just in numbers. That's about what she draws at her crowds. And this is a Trump rally. You think she can beat that enthusiasm? You know why you're enthusiastic? Well, let's take the positive part first. You have a man running for president who isn't owned by anybody, he isn't controlled by anybody, he isn't run by anybody. No special interests are going to tell him what to do. He's not bought and paid for like the candidate of the other party. You know what he's going to do? He's going to do the right thing for America. That's what he's going to do. What I heard the other night when I heard Hillary Clinton talking about how she's going to bring jobs back to America, but she's going to raise taxes, I'm saying to myself, Hillary, no. Not over taxes. We got emails. So many Clinton Foundation bribes. It would take me weeks to write the indictment, but I could write it. We got obstruction of justice. We have lying to the FBI. Just her lying about taxes is, come on. That's nothing. But Hillary Clinton actually believes that you create jobs by raising taxes on businesses. Now, when you already have the highest tax rate in the world for American business, you have to, I just figured it out. Hillary Clinton must have failed Economics 101. Because if you think you're going to create more jobs by raising taxes on businesses, you do not understand economics, you're ignorant, and you're out of your mind. And you have no understanding of economics. Here's how you create new jobs. You take our 35% tax rate, which is the highest in the world, and driving companies to places where the tax rates are lower, like Pfizer with a big plant in Ireland where the tax rate is 12.5%, you lower the tax rate from 35% to 15%. Then you encourage those businesses to come back by charging them a tax, but a rational one of about 10%. And all that money comes back into the United States. And you know what it's used for? It's used for jobs, and more jobs, and better jobs, and more opportunities. Then, USA. Not only did she misrepresent about that, but when she was talking on Monday night, she said that Donald Trump wants to lower taxes the most on the rich. Wrong. Except, unlike Donald Trump, Lester Holt never interrupted her when she was wrong. He didn't say, no, simple arithmetic will tell you that the single largest percentage deduction and reduction in taxes goes to the lowest tax rate. It's going to go down from 38% to 33%, from 33% to 25%, and from 25% to 15%. The biggest reduction will be for the middle class. Once again, Hillary was wrong. But you didn't see Lester Holt come in and say, Hillary, you're wrong. I just did the arithmetic. The other way you create jobs is you negotiate sensible tax deals. Donald Trump will renegotiate NAFTA. Do you know how many jobs you lost here in Michigan because of NAFTA? Do you know how many people are out of work or who have jobs that are below what they should be making? Thousands and thousands and thousands. Do you know who passed NAFTA? Bill Clinton. Do you know who supported it? Hillary Clinton. And once again during the debate, she didn't tell the truth. She said, well, she never really said that the TPP, which is the trade agreement with the Pacific, which hasn't been passed yet, which will be almost as bad as NAFTA and take as many jobs from us as NAFTA. She never said it was the gold standard. She said it could be. 3 minutes after the debate was over, there she was on television saying, the TPP is the gold standard. Once again, she didn't tell the truth. Once again, she lied. And once again, nobody interrupted her and said, you're wrong. And every single time Donald Trump was interrupted, it turned out that Lester Holt and Hillary Clinton were wrong. Both of them said that stop and frisk has been found unconstitutional. I have news for you. Stop and frisk is alive and well. It was decided by the Supreme Court in 1968. Terry versus Ohio. It is still the law of the land. It doesn't matter what Lester Holt thinks. It doesn't matter what Hillary Clinton thinks, because just like she failed Economics 101, she failed her bar exam. I mean it, she did. Their ignorance of the law is only exceeded by their ignorance of foreign policy, where every single thing that she touched in this world turned out much worse. She was given a world far safer, far better, and an America that was far safer than the America of today, where we are waiting for the next attack and we have a president who takes 3 days to react to it, and we have a president and a former Secretary of State who cannot say radical Islamic terrorism is at war against us. Well, you have a chance to elect a man who can stand up to radical Islamic terrorism, to a man who can create jobs for you, a man who can give you choice and education, a man who will do away with Common Core so your children can get the education they deserve, a man who can bring the ladder of success right into the heart of Detroit and pull people out of poverty. The right way, with safety, a good job, and a good education. And that man is Donald Trump. And you will be hearing from him in a few moments. Make sure you vote. God bless you. God bless Michigan, and God bless the United States of America.
So great to be back in Michigan, a state I've come to know and love during this campaign. You know, we won Michigan, and that was a great, big, fat, beautiful victory. You know that, right? And I've been talking about Michigan for a long time. We can't let them take your car industry out or your industry out of your state any longer. Not going to happen. I'm going to fight so hard for all of you, and I'm going to bring back the jobs that have been stripped away from you and from our country. In 39 days. 39 days. Can you imagine? This started off, we were a long ways away, and some people didn't give us a good chance. They said, Mr. Trump, the other day, one of the biggest people in that business, the very dishonest press business, they said, Mr. Trump, when you started off, you have to tell me the truth. Did you really think you'd be here? I said, what the hell do you think I'm doing this for? Right? No, we expected to be here, and we're all here together. It's a movement, and believe me, we're all here together. We're going to take our country back. We're going to win the state of Michigan. We're going to win the White House, and it's going to be an awfully good November 8th. That evening is going to be a celebration. We're going to take on the special interests, the lobbyists, and the powerful politicians that have stolen your jobs through theft and incompetence. They've stolen your wealth. They've taken your middle class. We're going to take on the arrogant, corrupt corporate media that have enabled the global theft of American prosperity. A theft that has left behind crumbling schools, roads, bridges, and a totally depleted military. We have the greatest people in the world in our military. We're going to rebuild our military. This is when we need it. It's time, by the way, to rebuild Detroit. We're going to rebuild Detroit. It's time to rebuild Michigan, and we're not letting them take your jobs out of Michigan any longer. And it's time to rebuild the United States of America. We're going to do it. Our country is going to be greater than ever before. We're going to be the smart country again. Hillary Clinton has made a living raking in donations from special interests that have raided our factories and ripped the jobs right out of Michigan and every other state. That's how she gets rich. By taking your jobs and your money away from you and away from your state. That's why Hillary Clinton, if she ever got the chance, would 100% approve the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The deal she lied about the other night, when I said she called it the gold standard, she said no. Guess what? She called it the gold standard, and Lester Holt didn't correct her. I wonder why. The Trans-Pacific Partnership will economically devastate Michigan, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and so many other states all across this country. It will be devastating also for Ohio. Hillary Clinton's donors want the TPP, and their wish will be her command. That's what it is. These special interests pay her for speeches. And she's not a good speaker. Not a good speaker. They pay her a lot of money. You know, we have thousands of people here today. There are thousands and thousands of people outside trying to get in. Thousands. And they're coming in. And in fact, I was going to ask you, should we hold it up for a couple of hours, let everyone pour in? You know, they're all checked. The answer is no, right? Thank you. No, they'll get in. They pay her foundation. They pay her husband. In return, they get your jobs. Like I've been saying all week, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, all you have to do is remember these words. Follow the money. Let's go. That's become very popular, I will say. Hillary Clinton praised or pushed TPP on 45 separate occasions. Her close associate and confidant, Governor Terry McAuliffe, said she'd pass it. Don't worry. Her husband talks it up. Everyone knows she's for it because she doesn't believe in protecting American jobs or American sovereignty. She doesn't believe it. Hillary Clinton only believes in protecting her special interests and her donors. Of the 262 companies that lobbied for the passage of TPP, 82, or nearly 1 in 3, donated between $21 and $67 million to the Clinton Foundation. Think of that. 9 companies that lobbied for the passage of TPP paid Hillary Clinton $2.7 million for paid speeches. Who would want to hear Hillary Clinton speak and pay her $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000? Who? You think so? You know, so we're going to have 20,000 people here, easy, including outside much more than that. If she came here tomorrow, if she got 500 people, seriously, I think it would be a shock, right? It would be a shock. 3 TPP member countries gave between $6 and $15 million. Think of that. At least 4 lobbies who are actively lobbying for TPP passage have raised more than $800,000 for her campaign. On November 8th, we are going to end Clinton corruption. We've had enough. And we're going to do something that has been a long, long time in coming. We are going to put America first. We are going to put America first. Hillary Clinton is an insider fighting only for herself and for her donors. I'm an outsider fighting for you. We have a movement like they've never seen in this country before. The corrupt media, which is totally corrupt, these people back there, totally corrupt. Working along with the political establishment and the establishment is panicking because they know this is awfully tough to stop. What's happening right now, folks? Awfully tough. The news anchors and the donors and the lobbyists who are used to getting their way are trying to do everything they can to help crooked Hillary Clinton and to cling to their power and their prestige and their money. The arrogant political class doesn't believe in protecting jobs and wages for Americans. Do you know, we have many people in the audience and all over the country that made more money in real wages 18 and 20 years ago than they're making now. And now, because of Obamacare and other reasons, they're being forced to work 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. So they're getting older, they're working harder, and they're being paid less. Not good. The only thing I can say is that I'm getting older and I'm working harder also, okay? So I'm putting myself in your category. It's true. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's so true, though, isn't it? The special interests don't believe in secure borders and strong walls. The Washington and Wall Street insiders don't believe in hiring more police, producing more American energy, or giving school choice to poor children trapped in failing schools. And we are, by the way, going to end Common Core and bring education local. For decades, we've talked about the corruption and incompetence and failures of our leaders. In 2016, it's a long-awaited chance to deliver the change that you've been waiting for a long time and to hold our politicians accountable. If you do this one simple thing, you can deliver justice for every single person who has been wronged by the system. On November 8th, show up and vote. Show up and vote, folks. Show up and vote. If you are so sick, if you get the worst report you could possibly get for the doctor, if the doctor says, I'm sorry, Jim, I'm sorry, Alice, I'm sorry, whoever it is, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You'll be gone by the end of November. I don't give a damn. Show up and vote on November 8th. No, we don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. When you cast that ballot, just picture a Wall Street boardroom filled with the special interests who have been bleeding your country and your city and every place else, and imagine the look on their faces when you tell them you're fired. Fired. And we're going to tell millions and millions of unemployed Americans my favorite 2 words: you're hired. When we get it going, folks, millions of jobs are going to come pouring back into our country. We're going to reverse the trend. Right now, we have a superhighway. It goes in one direction, out of our country. Our jobs are gone. Our money's gone. Our wealth is gone. We owe $20 trillion. Obama has doubled the debt, doubled it in his term in office. $20 trillion. And we haven't done anything. Our roads are bad. Our schools are bad. Our airports are bad. Our hospitals are bad. Our bridges, our tunnels, they're all falling apart. You know, it's one thing if we would have spent the money and fixed our country. We've spent $6 trillion in the Middle East. We could have rebuilt our country twice. Now the media doesn't want to talk about Hillary Clinton and her corruption. So we're going to spell it out for them today. The large corporations who support terrible trade deals that ship your jobs overseas and out of our country, they're donating to Hillary Clinton. Follow the money. The Wall Street investors who have rigged the regulations against the middle class, they're donating to Hillary Clinton. Follow the money. The wealthy donors who want to shut down American energy, they're donating to Hillary Clinton. Follow the money. The special interests who want open borders are donating to Hillary Clinton. Definitely follow the money. In her campaign for president, Hillary Clinton has received $100 million in contributions from Wall Street and hedge funds. And by the way, I'm spending a lot of money on my campaign. And why isn't she spending some money on hers? I'm spending $100 million. You know what I'm spending? I think I'll be over $100 million. But you know what's nice? When they call me and they say, Mr. President, you have to do this, you have to do that. I say, I don't have to do anything for anybody. The only one that I'm working for is you. That's the only one. You watch. So many things are done adverse to the country. And I've spent a tremendous tens and tens of millions of dollars on the primaries and now on the general election. And I'm very proud to have done it, I will tell you. And I don't know to this extent if it's ever been done before. Certainly not recently, but I'm very proud to have done it because we're going to maintain our independence. We have millions and millions of dollars coming in from small donors, average like $61 a shot. And that's really helping to fund the campaign also. But these are people who are investing in our country. These are great, great people. They're investing in our country. So Hillary and Bill were paid $150 million for speeches since Bill Clinton left the Oval Office. 150. Did they get their money's worth? Well, maybe they did, not from the speech. The same groups are paying Bill and Hillary for their speeches. These were the groups that were lobbying, in many cases, the federal government. I'm shocked. 22 groups paying Bill Clinton for speeches lobbied the State Department while Hillary was Secretary of State. Shocking. Favors and access were granted to those who wrote checks. She put the office of Secretary of State up for sale, and she never ever got the chance, and she will get the chance if we don't get out to vote. She will get the chance, so we can't let that happen. Because if she gets the chance, she will put the Oval Office up for sale like she always does. Remember, folks, she's been doing this for 30 years and she just doesn't produce. She deleted and bleached 33,000 emails after a congressional subpoena. You can't do that. After the subpoena. How about this? You get a federal subpoena. You get a subpoena from Congress. I mean, how high can it get? To give your emails, to give your papers, to give everything. It isn't before you get the subpoena. This is after you get the subpoena. And after you get the subpoena, you delete and bleach. A process nobody ever heard of. Who heard of that in this room? Did anybody ever hear of it? They call it bleaching. They call it acid washing. And a lot of people don't do it because it's supposed to be very expensive. But nobody heard of it. So she gets a subpoena. She doesn't like it. She says, in my opinion, or somebody does, but she says, delete all of my emails. Delete them. And then she said, and by the way, is there another process where they can never find them? Yes, ma'am, we can bleach them. Then bleach them. Because I don't want anybody to see the wedding and the yoga classes, right? She said they were wedding and yoga class tweets. I give 5 for the wedding and 3 for the yoga class, but what about the rest? In addition, she got rid of 13 phones. They were missing or gone, and several were destroyed by a hammer. Who ever destroyed your phone with a hammer? Is there anybody? There's one person. What business are you in? Foreign enemies with easy access to hack. And believe me, She's vulnerable, and she makes us vulnerable because foreign enemies, you look at her server, and they're probably hacking her all over the place. Unfortunately, maybe we'll find out at a later date. Lies to Congress under oath. She lies to Congress. How many times did she lie to Congress? And then the media protects her, and they don't talk about that. And if I'm a little bit off, Trump lies. She lied to Congress so many times. And how about her people and representatives taking the Fifth Amendment and her ringleaders getting immunity deals, 5 deals, 5 immunity deals. We call them now the FBI Immunity 5. So, listen to this. Listen to this. Here's my question. Can you promise that not one of the 5 people who were granted criminal immunity will ever be allowed to serve in a Clinton administration if that ever happens? Oh, would that be bad? Let's see what happens. And here's a demand I'm making today to President Obama. Mr. President, will you pledge not to issue a pardon to Hillary Clinton and her co-conspirators for their many crimes against our country and against society itself? Will you make that pledge? No one is above the law. Clinton and her cronies will say anything, do anything, lie about anything to keep their grip on power, to keep their control over our country. Remember the Clinton pardon a fugitive, and this was a serious fugitive, Mark Rich, in exchange for unknown and undisclosed amounts of money. You remember that? Mark Rich. Famous Mark Rich. People couldn't believe it. The American people have had it with years or decades of Clinton corruption and scandals, always the same thing. Whitewater, the cattle, remember the cattle? I think she had the greatest return on a cattle investment in the history of the cattle world. Guys that did it all their lives, they said, wow, she must know a lot about cattle. The people of this country are tired of the lies. They're tired of trivial politics. They're tired of being talked down to, looked down upon, and treated like second-class citizens. This will finally be the year that the American people say, enough is enough. Hillary Clinton has been a disaster for so many communities, but especially for the African American communities. I don't think African Americans are going to come out and vote for Clinton. They're too smart, and they know they are being used. They're tired of it. They also know from tremendous past experience that she'll do nothing for them once the election is over. She never does, and that will never change. Many of them will not forget her calling young African American men super predators. Super predator. To the African American community, let me ask you this question. Safe neighborhood. If you keep voting for the same people, you will keep getting the exact same results. Look at what the Democrats have done to Detroit. Half of 3 very beautiful words. Jobs, jobs, jobs. We're bringing our jobs back. We're going to pass the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan. And by the way, Hillary Clinton is going to raise your taxes. Every wasteful and unnecessary regulation will be immediately eliminated. They're choking our businesses and stopping our jobs. We will unleash the power of American energy. The catastrophe known as Obamacare will be repealed and replaced. And the disastrous trade deals like NAFTA, signed by Bill Clinton, that have caused so much pain in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and everywhere in this country, will be renegotiated and will bring back your auto manufacturing business like you've never, ever seen it before. Michigan has lost more than 1 in 3 of its manufacturing jobs since the twin disasters of NAFTA and China's entrance into the WTO, another Bill Clinton disaster. Before NAFTA went into effect, there were 280,000 auto workers in Michigan. Today, that number is only 160,000, and believe me, it's going down and going down fast. And after the election, if somebody else should win, you're going to see really big reductions in those numbers. I can promise you that, because that's what they're going to do. And I've been talking about Michigan. I was honored here years ago, and we set the all-time record. Years ago, long before I ever thought I was going to be doing this. Whoever thought I was going to run for office? I was going to be a politician. Can't believe somebody said, Donald, you're a politician. I say, please, I don't want to hear that. But whoever thought. But long before I thought about doing this, I was honored in Michigan. And I talked about your car industry is moving out. And had I run for office then and won, you would have double and triple the number of workers in your car industry, your automobile industry. I guarantee you that. But we'll get them back anyway. Ford just announced that it's moving its small car production to Mexico. So, it used to be that the cars were made in Flint and you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Today, the cars are made in Mexico and you can't drink the water in Flint. That's what's happened to our country. Hillary Clinton also gave us the job-killing trade deal with South Korea, which has been a disaster. It's cost our country another 100,000 jobs. And Hillary opposed the Korea deal when she was running for president in 2007. She campaigned right here in Michigan and said, the Korea deal will hurt the United States auto industry, increase our trade deficit, cost us good middle-class jobs, and make America less competitive. She pledged to you to reject the deal, but she lied. As always, she lied. Once installed as Secretary of State, she supported it and called it a cutting-edge transaction. Same thing's going to happen with TPP. Don't give her the chance, folks. You're going to lose all your jobs. Don't forget, when she ran for the Senate in New York State, she said she was going to bring back jobs in upstate New York. It was a total lie. We lost more and more jobs, and today it's a total disaster. She rammed it through, as she always tries to do. Her donors were happy. They were all extremely friendly to her. They helped her out. Everybody was satisfied, except for the workers of our country. We lost our jobs. The U.S. trade deficit with Korea for the top 10 products that Michigan exports to Korea grew 54% as exports fell and imports rose. So it was an exact opposite of what she said. And she probably knew it, although I personally think she's incompetent. She might not have known it. Don't forget, she has a distinction. She failed her bar exam in Washington, D.C. Remember that. That's a big distinction. This is what Hillary Clinton did for your state. According to the Economic Policy Institute, Michigan ranks first for jobs lost as a share of workforce due to the trade deficit with TPP members. Okay? Just imagine how many more jobs will be lost if the TPP actually gets approved, as Hillary Clinton wants to make sure it happens. Hillary Clinton is merely a vessel for the special interests trying to strip this country of its wealth, its jobs, and its status as a sovereign nation. She even supports the disastrous surrender of America's control of the internet, which is happening now. How about Obama? How about Obama wants to give the internet, let it be given to the world. What a bunch of people we have representing us. What a bunch of people. See how nice I'm doing, you know? A year ago, I would have said something vicious and they would have said, Donald Trump uses foul language. What a group we have. How about where Obama, on the worst deal that I've ever seen negotiated, the Iran deal, started by Hillary Clinton, by the way, which will give them nuclear weapons in less than 10 years. And it's an easy path. But how about where he gave them $400 million in cash? And then it turned out to be wrong. It was $1.7 billion in cash. Can you believe it? You know what that is? It's take that corner of the room and stack the cash to the ceiling. Nobody's seen that. Has anybody ever seen $1.7 billion in cash? What a bunch of losers we have. Hillary Clinton's website says she supports the decision to give away the internet to a global community of stakeholders. Isn't that nice? We come up with the internet and they want to give it away. Isn't that wonderful? Someone needs to inform Hillary Clinton it's not the job of our leaders to represent the global community. It's the job of our leaders to represent American citizens. We invent the internet. Let's just give it away, folks. Let's just give it away. Hard? It really is, honestly. Is it hard to believe or what? Forget about running for office. Forget about voting. Forget about politics. Can you believe the things they do? 400 million? Turns out to be 1.7. In cash, the internet. How about last week where they were going to deport 800 people? Now, they have a reason they were going to deport them, right? So they were going to deport 800 people. And guess what? Something went wrong. And instead of deporting them, they became citizens of the United States of America. Only in America. Don King, who supported me, Big Don, he goes, only in America can that happen. But they were wrong. But there was a mistake. There was a mistake. It turned out that the 800-person number was wrong. It looks like it's now going to be close to 1,800. And then I said, okay, they made a big mistake. Let's turn it around and let's deport them. And they said, but that wouldn't be constitutional. Can you believe these people? Can you believe these people? America losing control of the internet to foreign entities is just one more way Obama, Clinton have sold out the citizens of this country. Somebody's benefiting by that deal because nobody can be so stupid to make a deal like that. Somebody is benefiting by that deal. Hillary Clinton is a globalist who will never protect the freedom and jobs of the American people. I'm not running to be president of the world. I'm running to be president of the United States of America. Have you ever wondered why it is that all things that the American people want never, ever seem to happen? The reason's simple. It's because the financial interests who control our politics and our media, which is one of the most dishonest groups of people ever in this country. Like, for instance, look at this massive crowd. They don't show the crowd, folks. I go home, my wife said, oh, were there many people? I say thousands. She goes, really? I didn't see them. I didn't see them. They don't show them. Hey, cameras, why don't you span the room and show the room, cameras? Span the room. They won't do it. They won't do it. They never do it. They never do it. They're dishonest people. Dishonest people. I remember during the primaries when Bernie Sanders was doing well. He made a terrible deal. He sold out to the devil, you know that. And now people don't even want to show up for Bernie. He sold out. He should have never made that deal. He should have gone down. He would have been an American hero. He sold out to Hillary Clinton. He sold out to the devil, and his people don't want anything to do with him. He had an event the other day. Almost nobody showed up. But I remember when he was hot, and he was getting big crowds. And I had an event at the same time, a little different location. I had 17,000 people. He had 3,000 people. And the media reported it. And they said, Donald Trump had a rally tonight, and then he started falling asleep, right? 17,000. Then they reported on Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders had a massive crowd of 3,000 people tonight. 3,000 people. You know what 3,000 people is? It's like a little piece of that corner of the room. So for him, So for Crazy Bernie, they had a little deal. For me, they don't want to report it. But that's okay, because we understand what's happening. Just as long as you know how dishonest these people are. And boy, were they dishonest on the debate. Man, there's never been dishonest. And by the way, it was just announced by the commission that holds the debate that Donald Trump's microphone was defective, as I've been saying. I mean, working that microphone was a hell of a lot more difficult than working crooked Hillary Clinton, that I can tell you. They just announced, it just came out a little while ago, that the microphone in the auditorium, the big room, was defective. And it was difficult. And you know, when you have a situation like that, and you know it's bad, and you think you have 100 million people watching, what do? Stop the show? Please fix it. It was bad. I wonder why it was bad. Think of that. I wonder why it was bad. It was so bad. Hillary Clinton has been there for 30 years and has never done anything for you or your family, and she never will. Just look how badly she messed up the Iran deal. And just today we learned that on the same day as the hostages were released, the United States signed an agreement lifting sanctions on 2 Iranian banks involved in financing Iran's missile program. And you know where they want those missiles to eventually land, don't you, folks? Huh? Right here. Right here. Right here in this country. That's where they want them to land. And they're taunting us with the boats. They're taunting us with the 10 sailors they captured. They're taunting us by flying right next to our airplanes. So we give them all this money, $150 billion back. We give them the deal of a lifetime. And instead of saying thank you, they feel emboldened. That won't happen with us, folks. So just think of what I said before, the way she failed upstate New York, the way she promised all those jobs that never happened. Our campaign is taking on big business. We're taking on big media, and it's not pleasant. I have never, ever in my life received stories like I receive now. I mean, it is called the greatest pile-on in the history of America. Even journalists that don't like me say it's the craziest thing they've ever seen. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it for everybody. Who knows? I'm doing it for everybody. Doing it for you. Our campaign is about breaking up the special interest monopoly in Washington, D.C. We're trying to disrupt the collusion between the wealthy donors, the large corporations, and the media executives. They're all part of the same corrupt political establishment. And they nod along when Hillary Clinton slanders you as deplorable and irredeemable. You're deplorable and irredeemable, she says. See, she doesn't know you like I know you. You are the smartest people. We're the strongest people. We're the most loyal people ever to be involved in a campaign. I call you hardworking American patriots, and together we are going to save this country. And we're not going to have a second chance, folks. If we don't do it on November 8th, it's not going to happen. I don't believe if we have to have Barack Obama, but worse, for 4 more years, I honestly believe our country can never recover. And remember, Supreme Court judges, remember that. But together we can accomplish anything we want. But that means you need to show up on November 8th. We have 39 days until the election. You have 39 days to make every dream you ever dreamed for your country come true. Do not let this opportunity slip away. Get out and vote and make sure everything is on the up and up. Make sure everything is on the up and up. You've been reading the same stories as I've been reading. So go to your place and vote, and go pick some other place and go sit there with your friends and make sure it's on the up and up. Because you know what? That's a big, big problem in this country, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody has the guts to talk about it. So go and watch these polling places. Make sure it's on the up and up, please. That would be one hell of a way to lose, I'll tell you right now. You have one magnificent chance to deliver justice for every forgotten man, woman, and child in this nation, and there are a lot. The arrogance of Washington, D.C. will soon come face to face with the righteous verdict of the American voter. November 8th, we're going to show the whole world that America is back, bigger and better and stronger than ever before. In summing up, here are just some of the great things that will happen for your country. We're going to lower your taxes substantially. She's going to raise your taxes. We're going to eliminate every unnecessary regulation. She is going to add regulation. We're going to repeal and replace job-killing Obamacare. We're going to make child care affordable. We're bringing child care into the picture. My daughter Ivanka wants it, and I want it. We're going to bring manufacturing jobs. We're going to bring those automobile jobs back to Michigan, and I mean back fast. We're going to eliminate Common Core. We're going to bring education local. We will end illegal immigration. We will keep We'll build the wall, and who's going to pay for the wall? 100%. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. They just don't know it yet, but trust me, they're going to pay. We have such a trade deficit with Mexico. I was in Mexico. I really like the president. I love the country. I love the people in Mexico. I have so many Mexicans. They work for me. They're friends of mine. These are great people, but their leaders are so much smarter than our leaders. We have a trade deficit that is massive with Mexico. The wall is a tiny fraction of what we're talking about. So when people say, how are they going to do it? I say, look at the trade deficit. Look at the cost of the wall. And even the politicians that have no clue what's happening, they say, oh, now I get it. But they could never produce it. So we're going to have the wall, and we're going to stop drugs from pouring into our country and poisoning our youth. We're going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We are going to save the Second Amendment, which is under siege. We are going to take care of our inner cities, our African American communities, our Hispanic communities. We're going to make them good again. We're going to make them safe again. We are going to support the men and women of law enforcement. And we're going to appoint justices to the Supreme Court of the United States who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. We will rebuild our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our highways. We will rebuild so beautifully our airports, our schools, and our hospitals. American cars made right here in Michigan will travel the roads. American planes will soar the skies, and American ships will patrol the sea. American steel will send new skyscrapers into the clouds. And we will take care of our steel workers, and we will take care of our miners. We're going to take care of our miners and our steel workers. American hands will rebuild this nation, and American energy, mined from American sources, will power this nation again. American workers, many of you in this room, will be hired to do the job. And these will be great jobs. We will put new American steel into the spine of our country. I will fight for every neglected part of this nation, and I will fight to bring us all together as Americans. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people, under one God, saluting one American flag. To the people of Michigan, I promise you this. You get out and you vote on November 8th for Donald J. Trump for president. You'll be voting for yourselves, because our movement will be complete, phase one. Phase two is we will make America wealthy and rich again. Got to do it. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Incredible, incredible. 25,000. I think we almost had 26,000 people. Thank you for choosing RSBN. We really appreciate everybody's support. Shout out to Brad, our cameraman. An excellent job tonight. Some tough conditions that he had tonight to work with, but he really hung in there and just, man, what a great job. How's that for showing the crowd? You guys know that we always show the crowd when we're there. That's just part of it. We're documenting. That's the main reason that we're there, is to document this movement. We appreciate everybody. We are just so honored to be a part of all this. You guys, and listen, I want to also I know that the Clinton people in New York, I know that you guys watch our streams, and you're probably listening to me right now thinking, oh my gosh, would you just please stop? I know for a fact that you guys are watching right now, so I want to send a shout out to you guys and just say, hey, anyway, I'm sorry, we have some people that just came in the office here. I want to say hello to you guys, and I'm sorry that you have to hear my voice come on here every day. Go ahead and shut it off. Whatever. I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. It really means a lot. Please support us, because it's because of you that we're able to be at these events. RSBN.TV/donate. We're completely funded by you, no one else, and that's it. And we're going to continue to be there. We'll be live tomorrow from Manheim, Pennsylvania, and then on Monday we'll be live from Colorado. I believe it is. It's not Pueblo, and also we'll be live. It's not coming to my head right now, but it's in Colorado as well. And then we're going to Arizona on Tuesday, and there's a couple other spots that I can't really tell you right now that will also be live from the rest of the week. And then back here actually on Thursday we'll be live from New Hampshire again. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to stay with the feed. Brad's going to be here as long as Trump is here. We'll continue to put the feed out. Remember, go all in for Trump. That's what we're doing. We don't care who knows, who laughs, who cares. That's just what we're doing now. We have 38 days to save America. So go all in. Press 1 if you're with me. Go all in. And I got to go because the man himself, Wayne Dupree, has just arrived here at the RSBN office. He is down visiting us for the weekend. And you're probably going to hear him on camera tomorrow. So thanks, guys.
Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City nights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. Hey, mister, can I bum a ride? Anywhere you're gone is fine, as long as it's out of town. I could even fill your tank as a way that I can say thanks. I'm feeling kinda down. We can talk about anything that you want to, except one thing, mister, I'm begging you. Don't talk about Texas or Amarillo skies. Don't talk about Houston or them Austin City nights. Don't talk about Galveston or sweet, sweet Abilene. Don't talk about Texas. That's where she said goodbye to me. She fell in love with me on that Corpus Christi beach. It felt so right. And I remember how her green eyes used to shine, and a taste on her sweet lips was like cherry wine. We can talk about any state that we've been through, except the one where I hitched this ride.